Hi guys, here we are at Six Forks Farm doing a little mini cattle drive today. And I know it's been a while since you've seen us. So much has happened since then, since you've seen us last. But I wanted to kind of explain what we're doing now. We've moved the cows all across the pasture, which you can kind of see behind me. One paddock at a time across 30 acres. About a half an acre a day, so that's at least 60 days. Then we moved them over into the bachelor pad, which is where they are now. They spent a couple of days in there working their way across, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But they're about to go back into their first paddock, paddock number 1 in the large pasture. Now, since the drought, let me show you the grass here. I'm going to turn this camera. Here we go. Now, since the drought, we had very little grass in here, and then we seeded some rye, and then we had kind of an early frost, so it hasn't had a long time to grow back yet. So this grass here has rested about 70-ish days, and we're going to put the cows in here for the day to be able to eat, the cows and the sheep and the flirt. So it doesn't look like a lot of grass, but when you get down close to it, it's about, I don't know, 10 inches or so from the ground. And we're hoping it's going to be enough food for at least the day, and then we're going to move them across the pasture again. But we're going to let them out of this other bachelor pad here and have like a little mini cattle drive, and you guys see what that looks like. There we go, coming out of the bachelor pad. Kids are chasing them through, and there's Lindsay, and then here they come here. So fresh grass for everyone, and they're going to have plenty to eat, at least for the day until we move them again. See, we keep them inside this net right here for the day. Tomorrow, we'll move them over to the next paddock and then the next one, and so on and so forth. All right, now that the animals are in this net, we're trying to set up the other net for tomorrow, and we've got them over there, but right behind me, now you can see out here on the other side of the net, which is electrified, which will keep them in. Over here, this will be the second paddock, and then the third paddock, and all the way down, all that grass is rested the same amount of time. You can see along the grass where the green areas are, that's where we planted the winter rye that's starting to come up. Now, this pasture, this whole property has a perennial winter rye that comes back every year. And hopefully, since we're doing the right thing with the grass and allowing it to rest and rejuvenate, then hopefully it's gonna reseed and grow back stronger every year. So that's where they're gonna graze tomorrow and the next day, all the way on the other side of the barn. There we are. So they're in that net right there in what we call paddock 1. There's the livestock. Good girl. So we got the chickens over there. We moved that coop. That's where they were a couple of days ago. So as it gets cold right now, there's going to be less and less larvae for them to eat from the manure from the cows, but they'll still scratch through it and scratch the ground and impact that for the next rotation. But that's why they're nearby following the cows. Okay. But over here, how do we keep them in the net? Is we've got a water setup that we towed around with the four-wheeler, and it's overflowing right now, as you can see. And then we've got the battery, charger, and the grounding rod, all hooked up to the fence, which is a deterrent for trying to get through the fence. Isn't that right here? Where's Cleo? All right, so as we're leaving wanted to show you guys the pigs, but first I'll show you, oh look, there's the guinea hens back there on the fence. We have those guinea hens. They're control, they're hazard control, so they make a lot of noise, they fight the snakes, and they keep the predators away. And when the predators do come, they fight them like the snakes or like the raccoons or whatever. In some cases they make so much noise that the predator just runs away. So they hang out with the chickens, and right now they're kind of perched on the fence. But they go in with the chickens and they hang out with them near the chicken coop. And so they're pretty cool birds. They're super ugly though. Their coats are real pretty. If I can zoom in. No, it won't let me. Their feathers are really pretty, but they got the ugliest faces. Do a little close up. Yeah, let me see. Walk backwards here. Anyway, behind me here, we've got the goats. Now the goats, we have them separate from the flirt. We had them with the flirt, and then we separated them because we thought that they had worms. We treated them with apple cider vinegar and garlic, and now we moved them to what was the garden. You can see all the winter rye that's coming up in the garden, and then they're eating what was left from the season, and hopefully clean this up for us. The goats are cleanup crews, so we put them separately in a strategic place so they can clean up for us. Isn't that right? Now these are milking goats. They're all dried up, so I'm pretty sure that they might be pregnant. So when they start producing again, we'll be getting some goat milk. All right, so we're driving down to the pigs. And I've already fed them a pretty good amount of scraps this morning, so they don't need a whole lot of grain, so we're just going to give them a little bit. And we feed them, we used to not feed them at all, and now we supplement their natural diet, which is roots, with grain. And because of that, they're probably not rooting near as much as they normally would, because they're just waiting for their grain, but they're going to process soon. So let me turn this around so you can see. We put them down here by the lake, and we had them in a net because we were going to sacrifice one area. See, with pigs, we apparently don't have the right type of property for pigs, because for us to do pigs regeneratively, they do a lot of damage to the dirt and the soil, and it takes a long time for the ground and the soil to recover. So we decided we're only going to do pigs half of the year, 6 months out of the year. So these girls and boys are going to go to the processor next month. You can see how big they've gotten. And instead of leaving them in their net where we were sacrificing the small area, I decided to put them back in here because they're eating grain, so they're not doing that much damage to the soil. And I figured they can live out the rest of their lives happily. Look how happy they look. That's their waddler over there, and that's their feed bucket, and they're waiting for their grain. They know I have something for them, so you guys can see what that looks like when I feed them. So the rest of their short life they'll enjoy in this foresty paddock, which is really their natural environment. You can kind of see down there, that's where I converted that chicken coop. We don't have any chickens down here right now, but in the spring we will. So here's their grain, a little bit, and if I can get that off of there one-handed, there we go. And oh, they're super ready to eat. Come on, girls, back up. Oh, they're so excited about that. It's only a little after noon right now. Actually, it's 2 o'clock. Time flies. And they've already eaten today. This is their second time to eat. And they act like they haven't eaten in a year. But they sure like their grain. Eat it up, kids. So we have that one right there is Idaho pasture. I bought that one from my friend Mike, who raises the Idaho pastures. And this one is a red wattle. Beautiful pig, and known for their temperament and their meat. And then this black one here has been the best pig. She's going to be really hard to process. because she's so gentle. I can't do it right now because she's eating and she won't be interested, but if I go behind her and scratch her behind the ear, she'll lay down like a dog, and just like, she's so gentle. And she's not gentle with the other ones, because with the other pigs, because they're territorial, especially with food. So sometimes, you know, they might headbutt the other one. But she's been a great pig, and she's half Berkshire, and then the other half she's part Mission and part Russian Boar. And so that mixture together is a Black Beauty, and she's supposed to be also really good because of her marbling in her meat. So we'll find that out soon enough.